Francesco Abbruzzino with the scoop. Sarasota County Commission came out with their priorities, and some of you may be upset about it. Some of you may be surprised and dumbfounded by it. On the list was something like fixing the jail. We knew about the overcrowding, which I'll touch on a little bit. I put out a rant before it. Traffic on the barrier islands, nowhere else, just the barrier islands. And then transportation, defining their role in Bayfront 2020, I think it's called now. I think they changed it. The Bayfront is what it is now. Capital projects, water quality projects. Oh, yeah, geez. This is the same county commissioner, like Hines, who's in charge of it now, that was saying that the nitrogen levels were dropping off, and when Hands Along the Water said, no, they're actually increasing according to your site, he said, oh, that's not what we're being told, and never had any follow-up. But they're all over the water quality project issues. Economic development policies, incentives, creating a new conference center possibly for an indoor sports. And those are all priorities over affordable housing. What do you think? What's more important, affordable housing or sports center? Indoor sports center. Traffic management or that sports center? All questions that make you wonder. Ed Smith improvements. Not sure how that's not a priority, but something they want to consider when they just gave several million of our tourism dollars to them to fix up their stadium. And then having Nathan Benderson run self-sufficiently. Those last ones that I entered, affordable housing, traffic management, Ed Smith and Benderson, are not high priorities, but there's stuff they want to consider. They're on the outside. They're looking at it. But the higher priority is that indoor sports center, water quality projects, capital projects, the Bayfront, and barrier island, Siesta Key type traffic, along with the jail. Now, the jail's been overcrowded for over a year. They've known this. It hasn't gotten any better. It's only gotten worse. They don't want to put out the $100 million. You know, they have $20 million for, I think they spent combined about $50-60 million on the two Braves and the Baltimore Orioles stadiums. And then the $20 million they gave Moat for their relocation, yet they don't have it for the jails. Some of the ideas they're thinking about is what do we need to do to decrease it? Because there's a lot of fights happening there. They're overcrowded. The facility can physically hold about 1,020 inmates. Its operational capacity, those for 867. They've tried different things like separation of groups, like gender, felony, or misdemeanor. They're handing out notice to appear, which is a complete failure, but they're paying those out to even some people that have committed felonies. They don't have to put them behind jail. They just give them a notice to appear and hope they show up one day. So they're looking at that. They're looking at a violation of probation court to expedite felony cases and reduce the amount of time in jail. I guess the problem isn't that there's more inmates. The problem is that there's more felony-related crimes, which is adding to their jail time there. Also, they want to expand the drug court, which is a complete farce. I think I covered that before. And expansion of the comprehensive treatment court. Guys, I know a lot of addicts. And I know a lot of people in the industry. It's a farce. And a lot of people use it as a vehicle just to get out of jail. Bayfront 2020, or the Bayfront, that's a long way off. There's plans for, it's a $250 to $300 million project. It's going to be built in phases over 15 years. There's going to be pedestrian bridges. There's going to be a boat ramp, a performing arts center, waterfront promenade, all kinds of stuff there. But is that a high priority? Is that a higher priority than affordable housing? Is that a higher priority than some of the other stuff out there? And actually, Bayfront and the gelling system was essentially put above water projects. And the same with Siesta Key parking. And it's been a problem. Siesta Key, we know that. I've blogged about it before where I've gone there and couldn't find parking. 50 cars were driving around. Is there a solution? I don't know. They're looking at different things. There's a building the county owns. They were looking at using that, asking businesses to open up their parking. Remember, Mel made that basically a threat. Hey, if you don't do it, code enforcement might show up. I played the video on here. Transportation, park at X point, and a bus or a trolley will take you there. So they're looking at different ideas and different concepts. There's a variety of them out there. But the question is, should water quality be higher up on that issue? What did they mean by water quality? We've heard Hines and Dietert, And who's the other one that was saying it? I think it was Mayo, that they're doing more than enough, and people just don't know how much they're doing. And what the reality is, we know what they're doing. They're just not doing enough, or they're not being diligent. Um, as the county commissioner Hines has shown, they're ignorant to what the true numbers are in the county, and then they love to attack people like myself for bringing attention to it. And they'll say fake news without presenting how it's fake, whereas I like to present how it is real. So that's it. What do you think about those priorities? I don't think our drainage pipes that are flowing into the Gulf are going away anytime soon, like I asked, like Naples is doing. The county is one of the biggest ones that are have them all over the place. I put one on. I'll see if I can find the video where it was just flowing like crazy out of over by Shamrock Park into the ICW, and I paddleboard up and down the ICW. There's what they call these outflows, individual homeowners, and then community outflows, and city outflows, and county outflows, all into the ICW. Nobody talks about those. They only talk about the 10 or 11 that are on the Gulf, and that's just in Venice alone. Sarasota has them, Minnesota Beach, Inglewood, all those areas. All right, everybody, this has been Francesco Abbruzzino with The Scoop.